Stand the battle over storage space with the whole house DVR from White House Networks. You'll have the option to record over a dozen shows at once and store hundreds of HD movies and watch them in any room of the house. Another ordinary innovation at White House Networks.